From Prison to Parenthood, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's shocking new chapter unveiled. After years of being at the center of one of the most infamous cases of abuse and murder, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is making headlines again, but this time for a heartwarming reason. The 33-year-old, who captured global attention for her tragic and tumultuous past, has welcomed her first child, a baby girl named Aurora, with her boyfriend, Ken Urker. This unexpected twist in Gypsy's life has left fans stunned as she transitions from survivor to proud mother, embracing a new chapter filled with love, hope, and redemption. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was born on July 27, 1791, to Clauddine Dee Dee Blanchard and Rod Blanchard in Golden Meadow, Louisiana. Rod, who was only 17 at the time, ended his relationship with Dee Dee shortly before Gypsy was born. Despite their separation, Rod remained involved in his daughter's life, providing child support and making efforts to stay connected. However, Dee Dee quickly established dominance over Gypsy's upbringing, isolating her from her father and others. Dee Dee began claiming that Gypsy suffered from a myriad of serious illnesses when she was still an infant. Allegedly, Gypsy was born prematurely and had a range of chronic conditions, including epilepsy, sleep apnea, muscular dystrophy, leukemia, and developmental delays. These claims, however, were baseless, as Gypsy was born a healthy child. Dee Dee's behavior suggested a strong case of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, MSBP, a psychological disorder in which a caregiver fabricates or induces illnesses in a dependent to gain attention, sympathy, and financial support. As Gypsy grew, Dee Dee's control tightened. She convinced doctors to perform unnecessary tests, prescribe medications, and even carry out surgeries on Gypsy based on fabricated symptoms. For example, Gypsy underwent procedures such as the placement of a feeding tube, despite being able to eat normally. She was forced to use a wheelchair, even though she was physically capable of walking. Dee Dee's ability to manipulate medical professionals and charity organizations was remarkable. She used Gypsy's supposed illnesses to gain sympathy and material support, including free trips to Disney World, financial assistance from organizations like Habitat for Humanity, and frequent gifts from individuals who were moved by the mother-daughter duo's plight. The Blanchards eventually moved into a home in Springfield, Missouri, built specifically for them by Habitat for Humanity. Dee Dee maintained an iron grip over Gypsy's life, dictating every aspect of her daily routine. Gypsy was homeschooled, keeping her isolated from other children and potential influences who might have questioned her supposed illnesses. Dee Dee created an environment in which Gypsy was utterly dependent on her, ensuring she couldn't challenge her authority or seek out. Despite Gypsy's growing suspicions about her own health, Dee Dee used manipulation and intimidation to silence her. On the rare occasions when Gypsy voiced her doubts or attempted to assert independence, Dee Dee retaliated by guilt-tripping her or resorting to physical punishment. She even went as far as lying about Gypsy's age, altering her birth certificate to make her seem younger than she was. This allowed Dee Dee to maintain the facade of a helpless, childlike daughter in need of constant care. The isolation was compounded by Dee Dee's ability to garner public support. The pair became local celebrities in Springfield, regularly featured in newspapers and local news segments. Dee Dee's constant public appearances reinforced the narrative of a devoted mother, sacrificing everything for her sick child, further preventing any scrutiny of her actions. As Gypsy entered her teenage years, she began to realize the inconsistencies in her mother's stories. For instance, she discovered that she could walk unaided despite being confined to a wheelchair. Similarly, she noticed that many of the medications Dee Dee insisted she take caused unnecessary side effects, rather than addressing any real health issues. Gypsy's access to the outside world was limited, but she occasionally found opportunities to connect with others online. Through the internet, Gypsy learned about her true age and began exploring the possibility of escaping her mother's control. In secret, she joined social media platforms and online chat rooms where she could communicate with people her mother couldn't monitor. In 2012, during a science fiction convention, Gypsy attempted to run away with a man she had met online. However, Dee Dee quickly tracked them down and brought Gypsy back home, warning her that she would report the man to the police for kidnapping if Gypsy ever tried to escape again. This incident reinforced Gypsy's belief that she was trapped and had no way out of her mother's control. In 2012, Gypsy met Nicholas Godejohn on a Christian dating website. Nicholas was a troubled individual with a history of mental health issues, including a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. Despite his challenges, Gypsy and Nicholas developed a romantic relationship, communicating primarily through online platforms and text messages. Gypsy confided in Nicholas about the abuse she endured at the hands of her mother, and the two began plotting a way to free Gypsy from her situation. Their relationship grew increasingly intense, with Nicholas portraying himself as Gypsy's savior. He encouraged her to stand up to her mother and promised to help her escape. Over time, their conversations took a dark turn, culminating in a plan to kill Dee Dee. On the night of June 14, 2015, Nicholas traveled to Gypsy's home in Springfield. After Dee Dee had gone to bed, Gypsy let Nicholas into the house. While Gypsy waited in the bathroom, Nicholas stabbed Dee Dee to death in her sleep. The murder was brutal, with Dee Dee suffering multiple stab wounds. Afterward, Gypsy and Nicholas fled the scene, taking cash that Dee Dee had saved and leaving her body to be discovered later. The pair initially stayed at Nicholas's home in Wisconsin, where they believed they could start a new life together. However, Gypsy's use of social media following the murder led to their capture. Gypsy posted a cryptic message on Dee Dee's Facebook account that read, "That bee is dead." This post alerted friends and neighbors, who called the police. Gypsy and Nicholas were arrested shortly after Dee Dee's body was discovered. During questioning, Gypsy revealed the extent of the abuse she had endured, providing investigators with a detailed account of her mother's manipulative and controlling behavior. This revelation shocked the public, as many had previously viewed Dee Dee as a devoted mother and Gypsy as a helpless, sickly child. Gypsy eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, with eligibility for parole in 2024. Nicholas, who was deemed the primary perpetrator of the crime, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother captivated the public, sparking debates about abuse, mental health, and the justice system. Gypsy's case highlighted the devastating effects of Munchausen syndrome by proxy and the ways in which systemic failures allowed Dee Dee's abuse to go unnoticed for years. The case inspired numerous documentaries, films, and television shows, including Mommy Dead and Dearest, 2017, an HBO documentary that delves into the details of the case. The Act, a Hulu miniseries starring Joey King as Gypsy and Patricia Arquette as Dee Dee, dramatizing the events leading up to the murder. Gypsy's story also raised awareness about the importance of recognizing signs of abuse and questioning medical diagnoses that rely solely on a caregiver's account. It underscored the need for better oversight and accountability in the healthcare and social services systems. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her boyfriend Ken Urker have welcomed their first child, a daughter named Aurora Urker. Aurora was born on December 28, 2024 in Louisiana, a date that coincides with the first anniversary of Gypsy's release from prison. The couple shared the joyous news on social media, with Ken posting a heartfelt photo of Gypsy cradling their newborn in a hospital bed, both parents beaming with pride. He captioned the image, welcoming 2025 with the greatest gift of all. The name Aurora holds special significance for Gypsy and Ken. During their initial relationship in 2018, they discovered a mutual fascination with the northern lights, scientifically known as the Aurora Borealis. Remarkably, both had independently chosen the name Aurora for a future child, without prior discussion, making it a meaningful choice for their daughter. Gypsy, now 33, has been embracing motherhood wholeheartedly. She has shared glimpses of her postpartum journey on Instagram, expressing gratitude for the support from friends and family. In one post, she mentioned leaning into motherhood in 2025, highlighting her commitment to providing a loving and nurturing environment for Aurora. The birth of Aurora marks a new chapter in Gypsy's life, following her release from prison in December 2023, after serving 8 years for her involvement in the death of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. Gypsy's story has been widely publicized, shedding light on the abuse she suffered due to her mother's Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Now, as she steps into her role as a mother, Gypsy is focused on building a positive future for her family. Ken Urker, who rekindled his relationship with Gypsy in early 2024, has been a supportive partner throughout her pregnancy and the birth of their daughter. The couple's journey together has been one of reconnection and growth, and they are now dedicated to raising Aurora together. While Gypsy has shared aspects of her new life on social media, she has chosen to keep certain details private, especially concerning her daughter. This decision reflects her desire to protect Aurora's privacy and provide her with a normal upbringing, away from the public eye. As Gypsy Rose Blanchard embarks on this new journey of motherhood, she is surrounded by the support of her loved ones and is committed to creating a nurturing environment for her daughter, Aurora. The tragic story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother, Dee Dee, is a complex and deeply unsettling tale of abuse, manipulation, and survival. While Dee Dee's actions were driven by her own psychological issues, the impact on Gypsy's life was profound and far-reaching. Gypsy's eventual escape came at a terrible cost, leaving questions about morality, justice, and the consequences of unchecked abuse. Today, Gypsy remains a symbol of resilience and a cautionary tale about the importance of vigilance in protecting vulnerable individuals.